It's day 2 on the PDAC floor, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Kevin Keough from Oreterra Resources. How are you today?
Good, Tracy. Really good. Yeah.
And of course, you're having a great day. You just kicked off this morning's market open with some news. Would you like to tell us about the private placement you just closed?
Well, we've been working like dogs for the last couple of weeks to raise money, and this is the culmination of restructuring effort that we undertook at Oreterra. Used to be Romios, of course. So that process is just concluded with the financing closing that we announced today. And I can tell you, it was a gong show of a financing. Honestly, in my whole career, I've never been through an experience like that where we set out on day one to raise $6 million. That was the objective. We thought it would take a month, maybe 5 weeks. Basically raised it in one day. The phones were ringing off the hook, gong, 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 this, that. It was crazy, and so I stopped marketing at the end of one day. And basically today's announcement, which is 9.7 million, not 6, resulted from having to increase the amount of the financing we were raising just because of the spillover interest. It just kept coming and coming and coming. So it was exhausting, actually. We couldn't have done it without our lawyer. The lawyer, he must have. There were thousands and thousands of emails, honestly.
Well, I mean, this is the kind of success story that every exploration story wants to have. And when you just became the CEO, of course, like June of last year, you came in with this mandate, milestones you were going to achieve. And would you mind, for those of you out there going, Oreterra, Romios Gold, when did Romios change its name? Would you mind hitting some of those highlights for us?
Sure. Well, of course, I had known of Romios for many, many years, and I knew it had some great assets. But there was one called Trek South, which I did not know about until late in 2024. And I had attempted to negotiate a deal for that asset, Trek South, for this other company, and they didn't want it, basically. So I said, I thought that's a bad move, so I'm going to jump over to Romios, which recognized, and this is early last year, 2025, they recognized they needed to make some changes after a long run at a very low stock price. So timing was good. I jumped over in June, and we set about to fix Romios because, like many companies over the years, they accumulate issues. So there was a whole series of steps we walked through methodically last fall, which culminated really today in the rebranding of the company. We rolled the shares back. We, refreshed the board of directors. We focused the company on Trek South. And really that's why I did all of that work, was because of Trek South. I really thought it was that good that it was worthwhile taking the risk. And there were a lot of risks involved in trying to fix Romios. So I'm very happy to say that process went pretty smoothly, and we are what we are today, a totally new company in a way, very clean, no debt, lots of money as of today, and everything we need to really go to town on drilling Trek South in BC for the first time this summer. So it's been a very pleasant experience. A lot of work, of course.
Because you're moving so quickly, what are you going to do next? What's happening in the next quarter?
Well, we keep things simple. Right now we're preparing for the summer program, right? So we're just basically setting up to do the work this summer. That means organizing our helicopter service providers, camp providers, finding our drillers. We've pretty much actually done all of that already. So much of the organization is finished. And we hope to, get underway on the property. At the earliest, it'll be probably around June 15th. At the very latest, it'll be July 15th, 16th. But yeah, we have everything we need now to really do the exciting work, and it will be exciting.
Well, you're exceedingly focused. Will you be adding any new board members, or do you have the team in place that you want?
We have the team that we need right now. Yeah, we don't need more directors at this scale of company, right? We don't even have the discovery in our back pocket yet, Tracy. But, so we're good on the organizational side for the time being. We'll focus on achieving a discovery, and that's really what's going to build the success of the company, is achieving a discovery at Trek South. That's what my focus is going to be the next some months.
Well, Kevin, I just want you to add one more thing for our audience, just because I tell everybody, always check out the CEO. And your background and your professional experience is quite extensive and senior for joining a tiny microcap as the CEO. Would you mind just explaining why you made this decision for your professional career? We know you love South Trek. Obviously, this is an amazing project you wanted to get your hands in, but that was quite a big decision. What did your family say when you decided to do this?
Well, it's nothing new for my family, because my whole career, Tracy, as professionals in this business, you can choose where you want to focus your career, right? Many people opt to go to the big companies, and I used to work for De Beers and Anglo American in Africa, but I never liked that kind of small cog in, that big machine kind of scene. I've always been kind of entrepreneurial. I like the early stage. I like discovery because it's exciting, right? And it's not boring. So as a professional, you wear a lot of hats in these little companies. You've got to do a lot of things, and I enjoy doing them, and it's not boring, and it does get very exciting if you achieve a discovery. So I've done that my whole career. I've just run a lot of these little companies over the years, and I decided that's my calling. That's my calling in life, is to run these little companies. And I enjoy delivering results for shareholders if I can get them. We can make millions. I've certainly done really well on these little stories in the past, and we can do it again. It's all about discovery, though. You got to find something that could become a mine. Otherwise, you're toast. You got to find something.
So, what are you going to do at PDAC? You got money. Everybody knows you, Kevin. What's the plan?
See, I think we'll stick to what we're good at, which is this kind of thing. And we'll just take it step by step. But the next step is the one that's really going to count. And I'm pretty sure we're going to hit this summer, because we're setting the drills up in a massive body of rock that looks terrific, that's got metal on surface, it's got lovely alteration. The question will become, what is the grade and what are the intercept links? That we can't predict, but it is a huge target, and these targets generally, to become mines, you have to deliver many hundreds of meters of grade of a kind that's associated with this sort of target. And we can't predict we're going to get that yet, but I do know that we're going to be in the system from surface drilling. So the rest is up to the gods.
And on that note, for those of you going, Oreterra, how do I find out more? Please go to the following website. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Tracy.